Hello, welcome to SCLC Today. We're so happy that you join in for another program. I want to begin by talking and congratulating none other than three good people, and they're friends of mine, none other than Miss LaTosha Brown, Miss Helen Butler, and Miss Ufot, in terms of what they do to keep our attention focused upon the democracy that we all should be enjoying, and particularly with the right to vote. Glamour Magazine, outstanding magazine in the longevity of magazines, featured them in the last few days. And I just want to say they're the goddess of democracy. That's what I say. That's what Glamour Magazine says. That's what everybody says. The goddesses of democracy. And I just want to commend and thank them. And if you haven't seen this particular piece in terms of Glamour Magazine, outstanding article, and you need to read it. And again, congratulations to these three great young ladies who's keeping Dr. King's dream and all of our dreams alive and being a reality in terms of democracy. I promise you I was going to talk somewhat on critical race theory and give you what my research says in terms of should we be that concerned about the critical race theory debate, or should we get involved with a debate in terms of the critical thinking of this aspect of our society. Basically what I have researched and assumed and actually believe in, that we're getting really emotional and disturbed over something that shouldn't even be taking place. There are too many other issues that we need to be dealing with, because you're basically talking about the right of people knowing their history. We must know our history. But the debate is stronger than that. The critical race theory actually deals with college level professors teaching critical thinking to their students. That's basic. And you're not even talking about elementary school or high school to any degree. It's critical thinking. We all have been involved with critical thinking to a large degree. So don't get all emotional about this. Let's just know black history. Everybody know our history but us in terms of where we come from. But the problem is that many of people systemically do not want African Americans to really know about the transatlantic African slave trade. That's basically in terms of the forced migration of black folks, Negroes at the time, African Americans, people of color of African descent, that we came forcefully to this country. We didn't migrate or we're not the natural immigrants like others who came to this country. It was forced upon us to come. And the reason it was a business arrangement with those in America who was in a leadership role, and they were Caucasians. They were people of the Caucasoid ethnicity or background, not Mongoloid, Caucasoid. We are of the Negroid race in terms of sociology. The Negroid race is who we are, and they are Caucasoid. And then you have the Mongoloid, you have the Australoid, and the Pacific Islanders. So we need to know our history in terms of the transatlantic African slave trade. We were enslaved in this country, and people don't want to know the inhumane treatment of people of color, like ourselves, with African descent and where we come from. And the question constantly is being asked, is America racist? Yes, it is, because you haven't been healed. You don't even want to talk about the subject matter of the history. Make it plain. Let's forget about the critical race theory. Let's talk about knowing African-American black folks, Negroid, of the Negroid race, knowing our history. Everybody else knows their history but us. And we must have a healing process There's nothing wrong with that. We are sick and we need a doctor. Who is the doctor? The healing of the historicity of who we are, both black, white, green, and blue. All ethnicity within this country. Sherwin Williams, let me move forward. I will be back in Cleveland, Ohio in the next few days. I'll be there Tuesday, protesting the groundbreaking of the $1 billion project, world-class headquarters of Sherwin Williams in Cleveland, Ohio. There's no prime contractors that's at the table. This is a $1 billion project where $600 million will be coming from public funds, and nobody of color from the African-American descent is at the table. No black prime contractors. Ladies and gentlemen, this cannot happen. Cleveland, Ohio is the new Selma, Alabama on economics and voter rights, because you can't separate the two. You have to have voter rights and you also have to have economic rights. Let me just say this in closing. Just a year before Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. assassination, he was talking to none other than a great leader and statesman in his own right, Harry Belafonte. And he said, Harry, I think I have integrated my people into a burning house. I think I have integrated my people into a burning house. Harry said, what are you talking about? What he was saying, ladies and gentlemen, he was saying that the house is engulfed on flames. We have not included economics. We are so focused and laser focused on integrating and mixing where we did not include economics. And Dr. King began to talk about the economic disparity within our country. And that was a year prior to his assassination. Don't forget, it's our close. He was killed for 2 reasons. Assassinated for 2 reasons. Murdered for 2 reasons. It was his opposition to the Vietnam War, number 1. Number 2, the Poor People Campaign, which was about economics for the poor. Well, poor people need to get a piece of the pie in terms of the American dream. We've never been at the table in terms of economics. We have to have entrepreneurship. We have to have more than less than 3% loans at the banks. You know, what's really is very visible, you see people of all ethnicity coming here from all other countries. I won't be specific on this one, but all over the world, and they can go in business with the exception of African Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been integrated into a burning house. And Dr. King say, we must put the fire out. And Harry Belafonte asking, how do we do that? We must be the firemen, and that's who we are. See you next week.